paper magic will survive like the heat death of the universe, and will...
Oh, it's a smuggler's copter. Would you like to crew this? And then it crashes because they don't understand arithmetic.
All your cards belong to me.
2 minutes into macing him in the eyeballs, I switched to pepper spray. He's like, that's all right, refreshing. And went back to the mace.
Magic is dying. I'm done. Selling everything.
I might be a hoarder. And yes,
I don't have the crayons or glue to explain this to you right now.
What, are you gonna die twice?
Oil will be worthless before magic cards will.
well, okay, Dr. Man.
That's Mr. Dr. Professor Jason.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Brainstorm Brewery. I'm Corbin Hostler, joined, as always, by my co-hosts, Jason Alt and DJ Johnson. And in the spirit of the holidays, Wizards of the Coast, our gracious corporate caretakers.
Overlords.
I'm not going to say overlords. Caretakers. Magic the Gathering.
Corbin, caretaker sounds weak and motherly. How dare you denigrate our powerful, strong overlords?
I think you're talking about Jason's beer looks powerful and strong just from the look of it there. Look, you need to understand
It's
that Wizards
4.7%.
has gotten your letters.
So no.
They have gone down to the elf on a shelf shop. They have worked to gather up all the letters that all of you Magic players across the world have been writing to send in to them on the virtual Musk machine.
What are you doing?
And they heard what you want for Christmas, and they're here for you. More booster packs.
Thank God.
Introducing March of the Machine epilogue boosters.
This is fine. I don't care about this.
Aftermath boosters.
Like something Oreo thread on Twitter. I mentioned.
You
it
know
last
what
week,
else?
but,
You know what else? They heard that you wanted in your Magic packs, in your expensive collector booster Magic packs. They heard what you wanted. They said, "We hear you. We know the foils are problematic." And you know what? We agree with you. We don't want to give you crappy foils either. So we won't. From now on, booster packs are 6 cards.
I mean,
Not joking, not trolling. Your collector booster packs, they will be 6 Magic the Gathering cards and a traditional foil
foil?
double-sided token. 4 cards of rarity, rare or higher, and 2 uncommons.
like this is the same pack. Nothing's changed. It's the Office meme of like they're the same picture. Like foil commons are already worthless. Like them taking them out saves them some dollars, and you get to your rares faster. Whatever. I don't care.
Yeah.
How will Wizards triple their profits, you might ask? Print half the cards. Sell them for the same price.
But like, we're getting less garbage.
Look, I mean, this is a really, really weird situation of intersection of points because you're right. Like, it feels bad to pay $10 or $15 or whatever the hell it costs for a collector booster these days, and then open a foil common that they're just trash, right? Like,
So-
they're just bulk rate Magic
Foil
cards.
rares are like
Yeah,
a
so
foil
it's
costs
like-
less than a non-foil
So-
on some cards.
So on the one hand, I don't really care that they're doing it. On the other hand, I mean, look, it costs them the same amount of money to print that foil common as it does to print the foil rare full art.
I have
This
sent
is
a
a
decent amount
whatever,
of
you know.
I have sent a decent amount of surveys out to Magic players who are interested in like creating a booster pack experience. And one of the biggest pieces of like divergent feedback that I've gotten is some people say, make my booster pack have 10 cards in it because I want it to be a slow burn. I want to go through all the cards and experience them like a little 5-minute adventure. And then some people say, send me 2 to 3 cards max. I don't want garbage. And there's a decent amount of feedback at both ends of the spectrum.
I believe that. And you know, I've gone through iterations of that. I used to be a give me everything. It all has value, and eventually I'll sell it all. And sure, I'll just take it on. I'll get to it one day. And now
then
I'm
your
like,
house
now
fills
I'm,
up.
yeah.
And-
then I still have empty fat pack boxes from 15 years ago, which are worth money
Corbin,
if I
do you
ever
have
get
any-
around
do
to
you have
doing
any
it.
physical representations of your inability to sell cards that might be on your desk somewhere, like that might have gone to Okay, that was not a great. Now
This segment is brought to you by our generous sponsor, Red Bull. Red Bull gives your collection wings.
There we go. There's the parallel lives. It's down to its last parallel life.
I like how you held the top loader upside down so we can all see that it's too sticky to slide out of there.
Hold up, listen. Earlier today, I was cleaning up in here, and underneath my computer, where'd it go? Well, I lost it. It's around here somewhere.
People who are not watching this on
I
YouTube
found another
won't know
parallel
why-
lives.
won't know why he got so loud. He leaned over and physically put his mouth closer to his mic like a fucking rookie.
I was looking for the thing, man. But anyway, I found a parallel lives under my computer earlier.
So hang on.
That's not the
top
point.
10 commanders of the week on EDHRec
Take better care of your cards. I agree with you guys. I don't really care per se that they're doing this. But hey, I guess it is one way to increase your profit margin, right? It's but yeah, the epilogue
Well, I
boosters
mean, if we're asking them to
are a
print
new
less
thing
garbage, that's a good thing for everybody.
Yeah, I
Right?
think making foils more exciting in packs is better.
But
I think
but they didn't just make foils terrible. They kind of made utility rares bulk. And that's a problem too.
That was the goal.
I guess. But that wasn't my goal.
if I had my way, the only foil Magic cards that exist would be like many times more expensive than normal Magic cards. Like
I agree
if
with
you get a
that.
normal version, it's $1. If you want the foil version, it's $12.
I think that would have been better than where we've been at for the last few years, for sure.
Well, they didn't know what they were doing, and they still don't. So when you end up somewhere, it's easy to say, "Oh, you could have gotten straight there doing this," but like everything that's happened since over the last 10 years, they couldn't have anticipated. So I think they just did what they thought was best at the time, and then just every decision they made just compounded, getting farther away from what a lot of people like until they realized how much money they could make making all of us miserable. And that's capitalism.
Well, speaking of what people like, we've had a lot of new decks drop for Commander recently. Some big ones. Jason, what's been popping off on EDHRec?
Well, I do this every week. I go to see what the top commanders of the last week are, just to kind of keep an eye on it. And I also look at the past month. It's looking like just Urza Chief Artificer, Artificer.
I think it's
Urza-
Artificer,
Urza-
the fourth one there, actually.
Artificier. I'm sure in French it's Artificier. So Urza, the chief, the guy with legs, not the planeswalker, the guy with feet.
I thought Urza was like a head in a jar. Oh, is that Mishra?
You've been watching too much Futurama, bro.
My bad.
So Mishra's showing up in like the top 15, but Urza's like first, second, or third basically every week for the last month. And
that's like
with
the entire
exception-
source of the Brothers War, right? Like that's the reason they fought, is that Urza was like number 1 on EDHRec and Mishra was 15th. That's like the source.
Yeah,
of the
that's the source of his envy. He wants to get to 10th place so he can slash at his Achilles heel.
Teferi had to go back in time and try to unmake the rankings preserve.
Yeah,
Corbin, don't spoil Arrow for me, Jesus.
You guys only riff during the EDH segments. I'm sorry that I'm boring you guys by talking about the only format that matters.
Look, it's
in
nothing.
terms of the secondary market.
You can't
I'm
expect
sorry.
to stack up to the Arrowverse. It's not your fault.
Formats don't matter anymore. Hot take.
Well, no one's playing Kibo Ukatabi Prince in Pioneer, sir. So I think EDH cards do matter.
But did Kubo Ukatabi Prince like make cards go up?
Of course it did.
What cards
Okay.
went up because of this card?
Yeah, let's hear. Actually, so if some people don't know, is it an ape commander?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's an ape.
Tell me
Zodiac.
the synergy cards that spiked because of Kibo Ukatabi Prince.
Viridian Revel, baby, and Vandal Blast. They're both up. And Viridian Revel specifically was a card that went up before, then it went back down. But when Kivo came out, every turn you can tap Kivo to give all of your opponents a better treasure token called a banana. And they can get red or green mana and gain 2 life. So if you don't need red or green mana, you get colorless and 2 life, which is whatever. But you encourage them to bust those bananas, or you do it with like a Vandal Blast or something. And on top of their treasures, you're also making sure you're going to trigger Viridian Revel. So Viridian Revel is, that is one card synergistically that went up with Kibo. And then I think a lot of people looked at really old, weird, like Exodus cards like Ravenous Baboons and stuff like that. I don't think enough people are playing Kibo. That was the 25th deck of the week. But the point is, every deck is worth looking at because there are always going to be cards that synergize with the commander. And it's going to be more obvious on the number 1 deck of the month, Joda, which plays all legendary stuff. So, that's more obvious in the middle of a segment. But I did feel like I need to explain myself. So, yeah, you said Kibo specifically, which was what, the 26th best deck of the month? Yeah, I'm not looking at that to pop too many cards, even if there were a lot of monkeys that didn't get played anywhere else. But if you look at something like Urza, Urza's high synergy cards are all artifact stuff. Like Mirrodin Besieged is still under $5. I don't think that's going to stay the case. If you click on Mirrodin Besieged, it'll tell you all the commanders that are running it. And the top 3 latest commanders are Belisarius and 2 Urzas. The 1/3 Urza Power Stone Prodigy, and then the 4/5 Chief Artificer. Plus everybody that was running Commander Legends, like Silas Wren and Keskit and stuff like that. Emery's still popular. People are running that. Sai is still popular. People are running that. Brutaclad. Every time they print something absurd, Brutaclad gets popular again for another couple weeks. So,
well, yeah. So I would say that people just like building artifacts, and that because we entered an artifact set, that people are like. I mean, I've sold, I think 7 or 8 Tezzeret Master of the Bridges at $34 or something like that. Like, but the overall. Not even necessarily a counterpoint. The overall point I would like to make is that if I were trying to search EDH data, I would be more focused on the collective theme of the 17 commanders that have come out in the past day, and less so on the weird one-of monkey commanders that happen to be chucked into one Jumpstart pack. So if I was looking for specs, I'd be going, okay, there are 17 artifact commanders because there's a Brothers War set and a Brothers War commander set, not, this one weird, like, Brushwag tribal suddenly got filled. I need to go buy Brushwags.
I mean, that's not bad advice, but, like, you're saying that, like, you don't even need to care about stuff and that, like... That...
I think that you have a limited, like, amount of ability. Like, I think that every person has a limited ability of, like, bandwidth to care about the product deluge, and that you should focus it on the things that are, like, more broadly
Or you should listen
appealing.
to this podcast and I'll tell you what to buy. That's the whole point, man. If you don't want to pay attention, pay someone to pay attention for you.
At patreon.com/BSB, as it were.
That's the entire point.
My pick of the week is not an artifact theme, by the way. My pick of the week is a call time card.
Pick of the week, pick of the week, pick of the week. Time for the pick of the week.
All right, I need a reverse screech noise, JJ, from the editor here. We're off the rails. DJ is taking us off road. My GPS is freaking out. I'm down to Apple Maps. DJ, it's pick of the week, I guess. You go ahead.
Well, now I have to audible. My pick of the week is Waze, which is a much better driving app that you should absolutely install on your BlackBerry. You should use. Actually, you know what? Just chuck it out the window. Buy a Garmin. Spend $140. Treat yourself.
Buy a Garmin. Advice from 2013.
Use that $140. Put some number of those dollars towards Coma Cosmos Serpent. This is a call time card that has dodge reprints. It is very, very powerful. It just poops out so many snakes. It's got plenty of commander decks on EDHRec. It used to be like a $15 card. it was 6, it jumped to 15 around Time Spiral Remastered, but shortly after it came out. And then it's just slowly crept downwards over and over and over until it bottomed out at around 6. And it's starting to climb up again. This is a card that just sees constant demand from me. It is one of just the Simic go-tos. Like, if you're just building a Simic good stuff deck, which there are plenty of them out there, I'm sure you've seen them at your tables. Coma doesn't do anything particularly highly synergistic. It just makes tokens and ruins the game for a lot of people. And it's just a very high volume card. Normally, dual colored cards don't get this kind of volume. I don't sell them as frequently, but Coma is just one of those. It's just one of those like mainstays. It's like Anguish Unmaking. It's like Boros Charm. It's just one of those dual colored cards that goes in the colors no matter what you're doing, really.
Yeah, I have a deck that runs this, and it's just like, I don't know. It's just, it feels like a card that's just the way it does what it does. It's uncounterable and just immediately starts popping out tokens that immediately affect the board and protect it. And it gives you the kind of board presence you actually need in 2022 Commander. It's super, super strong.
There's a deep dive that probably don't have time to go into tonight, but and I think we'll have a special guest on to talk about it more sometime in the future, maybe. But there's something to be said about taking game actions correlating with Magic card prices. And cards that allow you to just, like, hit that dopamine receptor more often and, like, do a thing that is on the board and, like, have your card activate, be profitable long term. Like, Guardian Progress, what is it? Like, the 4-mana green enchantment?
Guardian Project, yeah.
Guardian Project, sure. Like, that's just, like, one of the key examples. Smothering Tide, just, like, cards that allow you to point at your card and go, it does the thing over and over again, are just, tend to be very profitable. And Coma does that because it just says each upkeep.
Yeah, and it just gets out of control immediately. All right, pick of the week it is. Jason, what are you looking at?
Phyrexian Scriptures, baby.
That card's fun.
Yep. I don't like it because I think Wraths suck. I think they're boring, but I don't
Is
know.
this at least an interesting one?
Honestly, I would rather get hit with a one-sided Wrath where they kept creatures and just killed everybody than reset everybody.
Look, that is a valid approach.
If you're gonna Wrath, just win the game. So Phyrexian Scriptures gets you there because it just destroys non-artifact creatures. So if you have artifact creatures, you just win.
Yep, and you can turn one of your own into an artifact. And it's
I'm pretty
fun
sure I recently said Mechanized Production. I don't know if that was a pick of the week recently for me.
You certainly have talked about it one way or the other.
But like, it's like $4 on TCG Player and $10 on Card Kingdom. So
Mechanized Production was your pick of the week last week.
Well, the numbers look better this week than they did last week. So don't wait. So my bonus pick of the week is like, hey, I actually believe in the one from last week. We did it.
All right. Speaking of cards that immediately impact the battlefield, I'm looking at a recent one here that I think is going to keep climbing up. But Titan of Industry, the mythic from Streets of New Capenna. 7 mana, 7/7, reach, trample. When it enters the battlefield, choose 2. Naturalize, target player gains 5 life, make a 4/4, put a shield counter. This is, I'm looking at this obviously because it's a card I put in my Mael deck for Commander, but I think that this has life in Standard. It's a big enough target to be a reanimation go-to or ramp go-to in Pioneer. It's got a lot of uses. We've seen it reanimated package before. It's recently climbed from 5 to 6. It's a mythic from a set that's now starting to age. I'm looking at Titan of Industry this week as my pick of the week.
People only got 2 weeks to buy New Capenna, so like there probably aren't too many of these out there.
I mean, New Capenna was like 7 or 8 sets ago, at least, right?
Corbin, how many sets ago was Kaldheim?
Dude, dozens.
Okay, so and Coma was from Kaldheim, right?
Yes.
Not Infinity. Because for our dedicated patrons at patreon.com/BSB,
Where's he going with this?
I can see where Corbin's going with this, because Corbin's the one looking at the sheet where he is trying to type in card names for our patrons who get access to these sheets, and Corbin typed in a Coma Cosmic Serpent, and I don't think that's a space snake, is it?
You know, DJ, I actually realized when I looked up the card that I had spelt it wrong, and I thought about changing it, and then I thought it was more fun to leave it as it was, and I did not expect to get called on it ever, much less immediately. But it's good to know that you went to patreon.com/BSB and had access to this sheet so you could see and catch that mistake. Very
This
good,
episode
very
is the
good.
one they're going to play in like a clip show when like one of us kills the other two and then themselves. And then they're like, where did it start to go wrong? This will be the episode they point
This
to.
one?
Like, but fissures were starting to form in the podcast group.
Corbin spelled cosmic. It's cosmic makes everything more fun, though, objectively, right? I think
When
about
Corbin
bowling.
couldn't even get away with
Bowling is
typing
boring as
cosmic.
shit. But if you add cosmic and make it cosmic bowling, everybody loves some good cosmic
That's
bowling.
true, Little Debbie's cosmic brownies.
Mm-hmm.
With the little candy-coated chocolate chip things are way better than the regular brownies with chopped walnuts.
Yep.
You know,
Walnuts on a brownie? What did I do wrong? That's a punishment food. If your grandmother puts walnuts in your brownie, you forgot to call her on her birthday.
All right, next up, we are moving to we're off the Twitter machine. We're on to Blog-a-Tog, because this is where this podcast, we will go anywhere, plumb any depths to bring you the latest news. And for all I know, this is the biggest news.
Latest news.
Listen, for all I know, this is the most important news, and we didn't talk
You
about
should
it.
get Twitter because this podcast comes out 5 days after we record it. Beep, 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 beep. Breaking story, Elon Musk acquires Twitter.
That was a good accent. That was a
I've always
good-
wanted to play an old-timey radio broadcaster like this. The
Good
kids
for
in
you.
elementary school were not impressed that I could do the voice.
Mark Rosewater says on his Blog-a-Tog. All right, Mark Rosewater says, and look, we know this is important because Blog-a-Tog, I'll have you know, is where question mark meets explanation point.
explanation point.
That's what it says. I just read it, folks.
Has that always been the motto of Blog-a-Tog?
I don't have any idea, Jason. I don't frequent Blog-a-Tog.
Man,
do you?
I don't either. And I feel like if that's new, I guess everybody probably gave him a hard time about it 13 years ago on Facebook, and we just didn't notice.
Xenon Knight asks, are the mom changes, that's March of the Machines for those at home,
Oh, I'm less interested.
are the mom changes big in the sense of the story or big in the sense of the gameplay?
So for
Mark-
context here,
Yes.
they are referring to the announcement of March of the Machines, which is the set after New Phyrexia 2, Electric Boogaloo, and they said that the fabric of the multiverse will be changed forever, I believe is the direct quote. So there is a little bit of promotional art out there that I don't believe is a leak. I think it's official, but it has Thalia, some guy from Strixhaven who's a legendary creature who I'm not going to pronounce the name of, and then a couple planeswalkers all sort of like on the same battle stance page. So the implication here is that there will be some form of multiverse rift that allows non-planeswalkers to interact with each other across the multiverse. And so this
Sure.
person is asking, is that going to be gameplay related or story related? And
And
Rosewater
Mark
says,
Rosewater says yes, implying that is going to be both.
Very
So,
helpful.
I'm not an expert in the lore. Sounds like DJ is a little bit anyway. Something. There's a mending. There's a rift. Only some people can be planeswalkers. So your legendary creatures from sets can't really cross the planes and be a continuing storyline. So they're limited to telling the stories of planeswalkers, and you end up with 18 Jaces or whatever we're at. But I am interested in what, in the sense of gameplay, means, and he says yes. We've seen big changes to Magic gameplay before. I think the one that most people probably remember would be the M10 rules changes when they took damage off the stack. I was around for
Corbin,
that
most
was huge.
people have not
Older-
been playing this game for 12 years. Stopping
Well,
you
I was
right
going to say,
there.
listen, the boomers would talk about 4th edition rules changes. I think it was. And the
Fifth
Zoomers
edition.
we'll talk about, I don't
Fifth
know,
edition
when they
rules
errated
changes.
Companion. I don't know. 5th edition
Yeah.
rules changes.
I think the most notable rule change in the past 5 or 6 years is the ability to have multiple planeswalkers on your table, like the Ixalan Jace errata, where it was like you can just have Mind Sculptor plus Bellerin just rocking it on your side. That was like
that was huge.
And then they're also legendary. I think that was the same announcement. So Unte Dake Cloud something spiked. That was, I'd say
that was a good one for sure.
We were
yeah,
in Vegas for that. Like I couldn't like buy like I normally would have in response to an announcement like that, because when that got announced on Twitter, I was literally in an Uber with DJ and we were like, oh, we can't buy anything. But that was a huge one.
Yeah, well,
and maybe
I think it was.
Burn?
I think it was Venom. Well, I think it was good. It was good because it wasn't great gameplay. I mean, they went through lots of changes with the legendary things over the years. You can look it up, but there were times when only one person could have one. There were times when if you played one, they both died. Blah blah blah. And now in a world where everyone can have one, and you can have your different Jace Planeswalkers or whatever in play.
It is interesting because
been through a lot of changes.
Legendary over the years has changed from such a balancing point to just a flavor line. Originally, the original Legend rule was you get to have one in your deck. It was you get one Nico Bolas from Legends in your deck, and you don't get any more. And it's been adapted so much to the point where it's, there's 35 legendary creatures in this set. Just have fun with them, build them, have them be your commanders. It doesn't mean anything inherently. It's just a character. It's not it's a little bit of a balancing trait when it comes to stuff like Thalia, Guardian of Thraben. Sometimes they use it so like we don't want this person to have more than one. Probably like Questing Beast is probably a balancing decision. But other than that, it's mostly flavor now.
And they slap it on everything so that people, because they took the approach, and it's not wrong, but well, if someone wants to play this card in Commander, why shouldn't we let them? Right? Or as their commander. Why shouldn't we let them? Make the uncommons legendary.
How are people supposed to keep track when there's a 4-mana blue-white Teferi released every month? Like,
I don't think you're supposed to. You're supposed to go to EDHRec.com. I mean, real talk, like, you're not expected to keep up with everything.
Yes. Or you pay people who to do it for you, right? Like that's
people don't like that. Like the comic book industry struggles with that because you have the legacy comic book collectors that are like, no, this is Amazing Spider-Man number 835. It's not number 7. And then there are people like, no, I don't want to start collecting a comic book at issue 700.
No,
right? Like, why would you want to? Why would you just want to be like, oh yeah, I didn't see the first 701st of this story, but I'll just pick it up here.
Yeah,
but like that's what you have to do with comic books. You can just pick it up wherever. But people do not like that, and so the comic book industry is spending millions and millions of dollars on consultants to tell them whether they should keep rebooting or do the new 52 like DC did, or just say, oh, okay, this is Amazing Spider-Man 35, but it's really Legacy 835. All kind of like that. They don't know.
Jason,
so, what?
Jason, I refuse to believe that nobody is willing to just start a podcast at episode 526. I mean, like, nobody would do. Like, they all start.
I'm not saying nobody.
Like,
I'm saying
all
that
of our fans
have
started from episode 1 and worked their way up. Like, that's
listen. If they listen to an episode and they don't go back to episode 1, what's even wrong with them? Right? People just they don't like it. It bothers them. And
I agree with you. All of which is to say that we, again, might be burying the lead, and for all we know, they're going to fundamentally alter the way we play Magic, and now every game of Magic involves choosing your legendary creature to be your commander before you play Standard.
Oh. That sounds bad.
That would be incredibly funny for me to watch.
FNM is French commander from now on.
Can you imagine?
Oh, just let Twitter hang on life support until that day, until 11:59 p.m. Please.
No kidding. I can't imagine any change they would make. That would be just massive. I imagine it'll be something involving legendary, right? It may just, I don't know. It may be, like, for all we know, Mark Rosewater means that Thalia is going to be a planeswalker, and that's a different gameplay experience.
Mark Rose,
like-
when you play Sorceress Spyglass, you no longer need to know the full name of the card because it's impossible to expect anybody to know that. So you just say, it's the 4 mana, 2 colors, a white and a blue Teferi from the last year. And they're like, all right.
That you got it down to 3 choices. Like,
Yep. Yeah, for those who don't remember, there was an infamous incident involving Berigamos and Berigamos Enraged.
Borborigmos. You Corbin,
Whatever,
you
man.
just
Borborigmos.
named it wrong.
You
so
ju- yeah,
I'm
you
gonna
just-
ask
What did I
now.
say? Borborigamos?
I thought
did
the
miss
person said
an R?
Borigamos, and then the judge ruled that it didn't count.
No, they said Berigamos or whatever.
Borborigmos.
I can't even possibly begin to
They
pronounce
didn't say
it now.
Boborigamos.
And then they got him because they didn't name the correct one.
Yeah, that's the less famous version of the Humpus Wumpus story, which is just legendary.
No, it's not. It's not a legend. It's one of the last non-legendary creatures, Jason.
Oh, get out of here. It became Questing Beast, all right?
So for those non-lore nerds, which I think is most of you, the current sort of track leading up to this is that the Phyrexians have planted a world tree that they got from Call Time. I'm not a story expert, but I've got a little bit of info. The Phyrexians have sort of planted a world tree they got from Call Time and are going to use the reality chip they got from Kamigawa and sort of try to like build a planeswalker machine thing that lets them invade every plane. That is the summation of like they've somehow
Sliders.
managed to use the Kaladesh portal,
Yes.
the planar portal, to like drop predators off individually on a few
Yeah, man.
planes. That's why we
And
If
found
you
that's why
watch
they've
the
been
classic
showing up.
sci-fi,
Yeah.
watch the classic
slow
sci-fi
cycle.
show Sliders.
That's why we got the
That
slow
was the
cycle
threat
of
there.
Praetors. But the big all-out Avengers Infinity War Endgame sort of situation that we are coming up on in the next 2 sets is this Phyrexian invade every plane and have every plane fight back as sort of this like ultimate ultra gatewatch from across the planes thing. So that's where it is coming at from a story perspective. There are plenty of takes as to what that means from gameplay, but it's so hard to just pick one.
Also, I'm not really sure how that jives with, wasn't the Brothers War about going back in time?
The Brothers' War was going back to Teferi needed to figure out a way to like see something with the Karn Silex, I think, or with like the big bowl that Urza nuked. I believe that
Corbin,
is
you're thinking the movie Back to the Future 3.
There's a
when
lot
they went
going
back
on
in
in this
time.
story, I'll say that. Somehow
back to
angels being
old
ground
West
into
times.
dust plays into this? Angel dust is a part of it?
I don't know.
Demon
We're gonna need
gangs
to
are
have
play a
Vorthos
part in
on
this?
sometime soon. Some lore expert that can stitch together the story.
Is
as
there a
weaved.
lore? I mean, Ryan Gomez has got to be the closest. Shout out to Magic Arcana on YouTube.
I can't imagine having to try and keep up.
Yeah, it sounds rough.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay, well, I guess all of that is to say we don't know what's going to happen with this, but we'll be along for the ride, just like you. I'm sure we'll start 2023 off with a bang. Now, this is the set
hitched
after
my
the
wagon
set.
to this game.
Yeah. This is
For
2
better or
sets
for
down the
worse.
road. Is this what epilogue boosters are for? You'll no longer need a deck of 60 cards.
Oh, thank God.
Decks are 40 cards.
You open up a
play
log
sets
booster,
are
it's like,
3.
I'll give you 32% of your collection's value right now. No questions asked.
Decks are 45 cards. Play sets are 3. That's how you would do it.
We Yu-Gi-Oh!
How big's a Yu-Gi-Oh card size?
40 card deck, 3 card
40,
play sets.
okay. Sure.
40
Maybe we're going to go full on Marvel Snap style, 12 card decks. The trend in card game seems to be making your deck smaller and smaller. Right? Because Magic's huge, Yu-Gi-Oh! Slightly smaller, Pokemon's around
Going
the
Infinite
same.
and Slay the Spire is one of my favorites.
Yeah. Hearthstone had like 30 card decks, I think. Now Marvel Snap's down to 12.
Where does it end?
Where does it
end?
end?
Card game. 0 cards in both players' decks, and they just go.
It becomes mental magic.
Neuralink, baby. Sponsored by Neuralink.
Fireball. Deflecting shield.
All right. Well,
The
let's
0 card game that's taking the world by storm.
I put on my robe and wizard hat.
Storm would be great in that format.
New for 2037 in the post availability apocalypse, where there are no more paper because all the trees are gone.
Can you imagine what Magic will look like in 2033 at the current rate? Just imagine if it stayed at this rate. Like, I think that they know something we don't. You know?
Yeah, they're like, we need to get every dollar we can out of the economy.
I'm not saying we were talking of doomsday
so
scenarios.
We can just like
AI doomsday scenarios before I think they know something, man.
Why are they putting steel shutters on WotC headquarters?
Because this is not a 2033 kind of plan for Magic that we're on right now.
No, this is a 2023 plan.
Yeah.
I think it'll all be fine.
We don't know what sets after the next set because they like we really didn't expect.
Maybe they're going to change life totals. Maybe we're going to have 30 life because they're going to make creatures even bigger and bigger and bigger.
We thought when we introduced a $300 booster box with 10 booster packs in it that you would all stop buying. We hadn't planned any sets beyond that. That was supposed to be our last you to the consumer, and then you bought them. And then we're like, oh.
Then we became a $1 billion brand on accident.
I think they would pay $1,000 for 12 proxies. You're a madman. They'd never pay $1,000 for several proxies. That's where you're wrong. It'll ruin the game forever. That's our plan.
That's a lot. You
need an epilogue to that bit.
You need an epilogue booster for that, please. Let's move on to something a little more lighthearted, a game, if you will, which we play for fun.
Breaking bulk now?
Breaking bulk.
Breaking bulk time. Breaking bulk time. Break.
Oh, yeah, breaking bulk. There's so much good stuff.
It's a pick. Breaking bulk. The end.
All right, as the undisputed...
Go on.
Listen, as the person
genius.
who is
the word I was thinking.
Genius.
Say something that I can't dispute. Do it.
As the undisputed.
Wow, big Jordan Peterson
breaking
energy from DJ.
Bulk.
Well,
Yeah.
Actually, everything's disputable. No amount of proof is indisputable because I can dispute it.
I thought you were going to be an ally in this.
My wife does orgasm, actually. I dispute everybody's claims.
As the person who is known for giving the best, most unguessable picks from the past 3 years, I'm going to present to you a Streets of New Capenna common. It's red.
Does it discard a card?
Is it the
draw 2
face
cards, and make a
melter or
treasure?
whatever? The witty roastmaster?
It is not Witty Roastmaster, no.
Wow.
What did you say, DJ?
I said it discards a card and draws 2 cards and makes a treasure.
Nope.
Okay.
Is it a really offensive Italian phrase?
What?
Is it like Mamma Mia, that's a spicy meatball or something like that?
What?
I haven't seen the whole set. I assume there's a card. Like, I assume, like, cement shoes and sleeping with the fishes and, like, all that hacky stuff is in there.
DJ, it makes 2 treasures. It's called Big Score.
Oh, get out of here.
Sure.
It's not a small score. It's a big score.
Mamma Mia, that's a real spicy technicality.
This card is $1. It's a red common. Yeah, it's instant speed, discard,
Wow.
draw.
That is more
discard a
than
card, draw
Witty
2,
Roast
create 2
Master.
treasures. Yeah, this card's great. Constructed playable. Very strong card, and $1 common.
I have to repick my new Capenna bulk because this wasn't $1 4 weeks ago when I picked that bulk. Can't keep up.
Have fun. All right, Jason, what do you got?
I have a white AFR uncommon that is worth $1.50.
Portable hole?
No, it is a creature.
Flump?
Nope,
No, that's not.
that's
That's a rare. Isn't Flump rare? My bad.
This feels like every episode of House where it's like, could it be tuberculosis? Is like, no,
Is
he
it
doesn't
lupus?
have a fever.
It was lupus.
It's Guillain-Barré.
A white uncommon creature from
White
AFR.
uncommon creature from AFR, baby. It has an ETB.
Is it Inspiring Angel? Or is that a different set? That might be a different set.
I don't know.
I don't know if I
can't
know
tell
this
you.
one. I might not. I will
Moon
F6.
Blessed Cleric. When it enters the battlefield, you can search your library for an enchantment, reveal it, and shuffle your library, put that on top. That's a real weird tutor, but everybody seems to like it a lot. Moon Blessed Cleric. A 3-mana, 3/2 with an ability Divine Intervention. She's a human, she's an elf, she's a cleric, she does it all. She splices and dices and puts enchantments on top of your library.
I mean, that is a cool card. It's a good effect. I mean, I kind of get
It's
it.
$1.50 uncommon that I definitely have in bulk.
There is a lot of value in Mom. We have Enlightened Tutor at home.
Yeah, true. True.
Especially a creature that you can blink repeatedly.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, DJ, you're up.
As is tradition, I have two. One of them is unpickable DJ garbage, and then I picked the normal one for our viewers. And
Which
It's
is
good that you're
pickable
self-aware
DJ
now.
garbage.
He's become self-aware, just like the AI.
Self-aware wolves.
so this unset DJ pick, for lack of a better term, is a combination of a entire set plus
Oh my
language.
God. Cool, man.
The people at home listen on the podcast apps and stuff, they don't see the smirk on his face right now.
They don't. That's true.
It's what you would
They
call
can
a
hear it. They can hear
shit-eating
my
grin.
smile. I think
Look,
they can hear the
grin.
smile.
Shit-eating grin. I don't know what someone who...
YouTube.com/Brainstorm Brewery. Watch this episode on YouTube. Trust me.
Now I know what someone who eats shit, what they look like. 'Cause that was a
I
shit-eating
will-
grin.
I will give you a hint. This is a set that is very, very old.
Italian legends.
No. Like, every card in this specific set plus language is worth a lot of money.
7th edition.
No.
Portal.
No.
Oh, the Portal 3 Kingdoms.
No.
I feel like we actually had
specific
good
set plus
guesses.
language, so it's like X set, Y language.
I thought we had good guesses.
English P3K then.
No.
Chinese P3K then.
Correct language, wrong set.
What set had I don't
The
I don't
one
know.
with
I don't
foreign-
know I don't know the secret Chinese expensive set.
Cards from Simplified Chinese in 5th edition are all very, very rare and hard to find, and technically expensive if you can find somebody who is willing to sell out money.
Good breaking bulk, DJ.
I prefaced it by saying it was I gave you
Yeah, you prefaced your breaking bulk by saying it was a terrible breaking bulk.
Yeah, he did.
These are identifiable.
He's trying to
That's fair.
use it as
That's
a
fair.
framing device
That's
as
fair.
for a lesson for people.
These are identifiable. Do you know how to identify 5th edition on like most English normal cards?
Does it have the V? Does it have a gold V?
These
Yeah.
are
the
Chinese
only
5th
time
edition
you-
cards that have a set symbol that is an actual just Roman numeral 5.
Yeah,
Normally-
because
Normally 5th edition is identifiable by the fact that it has a 1997 copyright date and no set symbol. So if you happen to find Chinese bulk from this era and you see a card with a 5 for a set symbol, just a V,
yeah.
you should pick it and you should try to find somebody that's willing to pay for it. It's
it
hard to
you?
find a buyer. For a full frame of like how hard these are to find. There was one that came across the vendor booth. There was a Brainstorm that came across the vendor booth a couple months ago, and it was the first time that anybody in the booth had ever seen it in our combined like 30 years of vending.
Whew.
That's kind of cool.
I found
What did he want on it?
we offered 100, and I think they took that offer.
No one else was going to buy it.
Yeah.
But I think it might have been 150. But so I found a Meek Stone in my non-English bulk recently, and I had to do a triple check of like, is this the really weird expensive one? And yes, it is. And if somebody wants to pay me $100 for it, I would happily take it.
It was the long con to sell his cards.
Jesus.
Oh my God. If we went along with it, DJ, give us a different.
I almost
breaking
bought
bulk.
ivermectin from you.
Jesus. Oh my. Give us the other breaking ball. Christ.
Get out of here.
This one is a white rare from Mirage that is around $1.
I don't know what's in that set, bro. That's got
Corbin,
the palm
Soul
tree.
what was it?
Echo.
Undisputed Genius.
Is it a creature or
of
a
supplying
It is a
Tricks.
non-creature.
Supplying breaking bolts, not guessing them.
Does it have multiple printings, DJ?
This is the only printing of this card spiked in call time.
Sacred Mesa.
Didn't you guess Sacred Mesa last time and I said White Instant?
Come on, man.
Sacred Mesa is an enchantment that does have multiple printings.
Single printing, white rare for Mirage, spiked in call time.
Alabaster Dragon?
No.
Not Alabaster Dragon. Yeah,
it's an
Dragon.
instant. It's an instant, remember?
Oh, it is an instant. Okay. There's
Divine.
No. That has multiple printings too. I actually don't know.
You can say a card.
Yer? The creature can
is that how you pronounce it?
Yare? Yeah, I think
Yare,
it's Yer. Yeah. Did I nail it?
Yep.
What is it? How do you spell it?
It's like the one white bulk rare I could remember.
I have no idea what this
Mirage.
is. What's this card?
It's like a creature can block 4 creatures or something like that.
Target creature defending player controls gets +3/+0 until end of turn. That creature may be assigned to block up to 3 creatures this turn. All blocks must be legal.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure, man. Sure. How do you spell this for our spreadsheet? access here?
Yare.
Okay, sure.
Yer.
The word
That's
cosmic
a
is
new one
in
to
there,
me.
by the way, just as a
Is
heads
it
up.
Yare? I don't. Maybe it's. I don't know
Yare,
Japanese.
Cosmic Mirage Rare. Sure.
This is not a commander card. It did not spike because of commander. It is just a card that is rare that is on the reserved list. That's it. You should pick
That's
it.
it. That's it. What else do you want from him? That's all he's got.
Eventually, if you list it at $2.99 on TCG Player, and then you wait like a year, somebody might buy it out.
But you can get it for a dime. So there you go. Also,
And then you can take all the money that you make on this transaction.
Also,
and
if you
use it.
sell a card for $3 on TCG Player, you lose $3.
It's like mostly true if you're on direct. You lose 50%.
Ooh.
Yikes.
$2.99 is the break point.
Well, somewhere where you do not get hosed by fees is at Coalesce Apparel, where you can go use the gift code Brainstorm Brewery, get 10% off your order, and that order cannot be of just our merch. It can be of anyone's merch in Magic who is set up with Coalesce, and it is a growing number of individuals, including your favorite content creators and our favorite content creators. And as the podcast that holds the title of your favorite podcaster's favorite podcast, I feel like that endorsement means a lot.
It's true.
So I've
Anyways,
done this
Coalesce Apparel is
podcast-
great. That's all.
I've done this podcast many different ways. I've recorded while in pain. I've recorded while sleep deprived. I'm currently recording while in a lot of pain, and most of it is because this specific Brainstorm Brewery shirt is not Coalesce. It's super itchy. It's terrible. I'm just basically I'm just suffering in silence right now, and I just wish I could be in my
You're not silent, but
my
go on.
snug anti-Mulligan Club
I'm
Eldrazi shirt.
suffering in silence, he yelled into a megaphone.
He
We are the silent
broadcasted.
majority.
He is suffering in silence. He broadcast to the world.
I'm suffering.
We've seen the list of where our listeners come from. He broadcasts that to the world.
The point is, this specific Brainstorm Brewery shirt is no longer available, and for good reason. It is not Coalesce branded.
We ditched. Yeah, we are so happy to have Coalesce handling our merch because people will get good looking quality shirts instead of the shirts I sent out that one time.
It's the best in the game. You can find them at events, and you can get any of your other favorite content creators, like we said on there. Shiv and Bot's shirts are really cool. Ristic Studies, Caleb Durward. The list honestly keeps growing. It's great. Go check out Coalesce Apparel.
We have a new one coming up, so if you want to wait, I will forgive you. If you're like, I was thinking about buying a shirt right this second, and you just waited because I mentioned that we have a new shirt coming out, that's fine. It's okay. I forgive you. Should be out late January, I think, but it's really, really cool. Super happy with the design. Inklin Customs worked on it with us. She's great. She's awesome. She did our Twitch banner and stuff like that. We have a new shirt coming out soon. Wait to buy it. Pretty please.
Oh, and Brainstorm Brewery logo stickers also will be coming soon. So keep checking Coalesce Apparel for that.
All right. Well,
stickers count as apparel if you just cover yourself with them.
True.
It's true. Strip clubs are like, hey, that woman's topless. Then she goes put stickers on there like, oh,
Brainstorm
where'd she
Brewery
go?
Stickers.
Where'd she go?
We're the state of Indiana.
Where they have T-Rex vision, just like
Hold perfectly still. Their vision is based on nipples.
All right, before we get out of here this week, it is time for one last opportunity for me to stump DJ and Jason, because I just don't get enough opportunities to do that, and that is why it's time for the MTGStocks Game. What is the MTGStocks Game?
The name of the MTGStocks Game, because that game name does not sound good to me.
Well, Jason, it's called the MTGStocks Game because DJ said we're not allowed to title it anything else, and now we don't have anything to title it.
Okay. I got nothing.
And that's why it's the MTGStocks Game. And this week, I'm switching it up very slightly. I'm expanding our scope a little on this game. So for those who don't know, the MTGStocks Game is, of course, sponsored by MTGStocks. And what we do is we take a cycle of cards and we try to stump each other as to the price of that cycle in descending ascending order, right? So which is the least expensive to most expensive. We've done lands in the past. We've done some other kinds of cycles. And this week, I'm expanding it a little bit. The legendary transform enchantments of Ixalan.
okay.
So I got you. Argyle's Bloodfast.
5 of them or 10 of them?
5 of them. From Ixalan. Argyle's Bloodfast. Growing Rites of Itlamok. Search for Azcanta. Legion's Landing. And Vance's Blasting Canyon. All of these were played in Standard. Some of them obviously a lot more than others. And
Did
some
any
of them
get a reprint?
Some of
Yes.
them have been played in other formats. Yes, there have been some printings of these cards.
Are there been printings that are not obvious to me? Like I know,
I
the
think
blue
Argyle's
one got
Bloodfast
reprinted,
was in
but
the
I'm-
Transform one, from the
Yeah, the
Vault
black one was an
Transform or
FTV
something.
transform.
Yeah.
The green one got a Judge promo recently.
Yeah.
They all had promos at the
They all had a
time.
buy a box promo that has a
Yeah,
map
buy
on the
box
back.
promo. Those are cool.
Oh yeah, the
Those are
map
the ones I
promo
use.
card.
Those
All
are
those map
awesome.
promo cards, like if you, those are so good.
I think Search for Azcanta might have a list printing, but I don't know if double face
I-
cards have list printings.
Growing Rights is number 1 with a bullet.
Yes.
I don't think it's close.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
But I still, even with the multiple printings, I think Search for Azcanta's got to be number 2.
I think white is.
Legion's Landing?
Search
That
for
got played
Azcanta
in,
is down so hard. It's like $3 at this point. It's really low.
You think Legion's Landing?
I think Legion's Landing has crept up for Pioneer and other reasons. But
Oh yeah, I could see that Pioneer and yeah. So you think it's
I think it's green,
white,
then
blue?
white, then blue, then black, then red.
I think red is the cheapest one for sure. You know what? I'm going to say green, blue, white, black, red, and you can say green, white, blue, black, red,
Okay.
and then we'll both.
Oh, yeah, we
Okay.
both fall on the sword.
Well,
of
you know
five.
what? You all
wrong.
did. Hey, listen, you all did great this week because
Okay.
I guess there's a technical answer to who's right, but honestly, it's if we look at it in tiers, you're right. Growing Rights is actually the most expensive rare in the set. It's $18, $19.
Yep.
Search for Azcanta and Legion's Landing are both $350 to $4, depending on whether you look at the market price or median price or whatever, right? Like they're the same price. And then Vance's Blasting Canyon and Argyle's Bloodfast are both bulk rares.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go. But that is this was a surprise to me. I thought about this when I was looking up my Search for Azcanta the other day. I was considering them in Commander because I realized I played in almost every Commander deck. I really like the card. And I was just looking it up. I'm like, oh, like DJ said, this card has dropped like a rock. Card was $20. So yeah, that's what put me onto this
It had one
but-
printing when it was $20.
Yeah, and the promo ones were cool. The buy box promos,
Yeah.
which are they're still $20, but they're obviously going down too. But it's a cool card. It was a cool cycle, and we're going back to Ixalan here sometime in 2023. We'll see what happens.
Ixalan has secretly put so many just ridiculous cards into EDH.
Yeah, and there were
Very
Rivals of
sneakily as a
Ixalan
set.
has several as well.
Or as a block, I guess.
Did you see Atali's getting reprinted again? That was unexpected.
Jesus.
And Zatalpa were blessed.
That set was fun though. I'm excited to go back. We'll have some merfolk. All I want is the land they never gave us. You notice they recently in the Brothers War printed a blue-white soldier land from Lorwyn. If that doesn't make sense to you, it's the what they initially, the mechanic they revealed in Lorwyn, where as you play the land, it comes in play tapped unless you reveal a creature card of the type from your hand. So back then it was, like merfolk, goblins, whatever, right? And that was just the entire dual land. Nowadays, because it's 2022, the Brothers War one had that for blue, white, and soldiers as a base mechanic, but then has an activated ability later on that you can pay on top of that. So it's a dual land with upside for a tribal deck. And that's what I want for Merfolk. We got hosed on the mana in the original Trip to Ixalan. All the tribes had bad mana because of it. And now, hopefully, we'll get this cycle of lands like that made sense then. I think they even went on record talking about how it made sense in Lorwyn, and they thought, considered it, and they didn't run it back. So hopefully now they run it back, and they staple activated abilities to all of them, too. Be fun. And it would give you 5 casual gold cards, right? Your Merfolk one, your Vampire one, your Dino one. Like, those are just lands that people would want.
Corbin, would it break your heart if I told you that Merfolk is, not even in the top 15 of tribes that I sell, creature type-wise?
It doesn't matter to me.
Just facts don't matter. Understood. Got it.
I mean, your metrics don't matter to me.
Yeah. You're just one seller.
Yeah. In a sea, if you will, of Merfolk. You're one little fish. You're one little fish, DJ. One little fish. And I think that does it for us, everybody. We hope that if you're listening to this around Christmas and you celebrate, that you have a great time. Enjoy your New Year's. Enjoy whatever holidays you celebrate around this time. We will be here spending time with our families, getting chased around by our kids. It's supposed to be brutally cold in Oklahoma this week, so I can't wait to see what my 2-year-old, almost anyway, wants to do around the house. I'm sure it'll be very entertaining for us stuck in the house. But hey, that's my weekend. I'm going to love the holidays with family, just like I'm sure all of you will. And we thank you for hanging out with us as always. And hey, keep your eyes and ears peeled. We might have some holiday bonus content coming out. Little elf on the shelf told me. So everybody, thank you for listening to Brainstorm Brewery. We'll see you next week. And actually, I can't lie, I hate elves on the shelf.
That
That's
can't
the creepiest
possibly
tradition.
be the real idiom.
It's the
Keep
worst
your
tradition.
eyes peeled?
Oh, I think it is.
Peel those eyeballs like a grape.
I mean, I never listened to the. I never
Tear
thought
off
of
your
it.
cornea because we did a Christmas episode.
Maybe it's talking about people who have cataracts.
Peel your ears. Peel those too.
It's like you. It's like
Don't
a
listen to
virtual
this
film.
with unpeeled ears.
It's like a virtual film on your eyes, and you pull it off like Jesus because it's Christmas.
That's what they do for Lasik.